and welcome everybody to the Control Breakers. This is a new podcast starring yours truly, the Bosnian Byzantine Empire King himself, Armin, and also the Canadian Pickled Ham, Joel.
You get an awesome name. I get the Pickled Ham.
Every week I'm going to alternate. One gets a bad one gets a good one.
Oh, nice. Hey, it's funny, one guy in the last video was saying I look like the young Wilson Fisk, to which I'm like, hey, I could go with that. Even though I think in most versions of the comics, Wilson Fisk is a lot darker than I am.
Not that there's anything. Guido tan.
There you go. Getting all orange and looking good.
So, as you can probably tell by the title, this is going to be a video game-centric podcast that we're going to run. It might not be weekly, might not be bi-weekly, it might be once a month or 3 weeks. We don't know yet, but
whenever there's a big release that we're going to pick up,
right,
we figure it's a good time to do this.
And so we're going to run down a couple of news things, but as always, I want to mention our phone number, 1-802-448-2265. Give us a call, and if it's for the Video Games Podcast, make sure you just mention at the beginning, okay, this is for the video game section, because we don't want, crazy shit coming in, and I'm getting confused because we're getting a ton of voicemails, which we do, so, just clarify it a little better. So, yeah, all right, let's get into the first piece of news that I want to talk about, which, to me, honestly, this was the biggest news that it's officially out there, and, EA Label's president says he's seen the PS4 and the next Xbox. Which, it's no surprise.
No,
but,
not really.
They keep denying it. They're like, oh, no, we're not working on those. We'll announce them when it's ready. It's like, it's out in the open. We know it is.
Yeah, even though this is about the time last generation when we started getting new consoles.
I actually think we're overdue. PS2 came out in 2006? Oh no, PS2 came out in 1999 in Japan, 2000 in America, right?
Something like that.
The Xbox 3, the Xbox original came out in 2001. They were already talking about the 360 in 2005 and getting it ready for release. It's been so long this generation. I'm getting sick.
well, it's like the thing with me though is I like my PlayStation 3. I spent a shit ton of money on it. I got the Slim after my original broke down, and I'm honestly at a point now where I'm like, can we get any better with graphics? I don't think we can. And I think that's
the thing. Even current consoles are so push. For the love of God, go look at The Last of Us.
Yeah, I know.
That game, you look at it, you're like, I don't need better than that. So.
And the feeling I get is that the reason we've waited so long is because, well, shit, we can't push graphics much farther. I think the next generation of consoles, what we're going to see, is a lot more web, internet, cloud integration. Well, it's going to be a lot more like Steam.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I want to bring up. To me, graphics, they're not the most important part, but even today, Sleeping Dogs, and that's a game you're going to review later on in the show.
Yeah.
You compare that right now on PS3, and I've played it, and it looks beautiful. But my God, when I saw it on PC, it blew me away. The amount of characters they put on the streets of the city on the PC version compared to the PS3, it's 4 or 5 times more. It actually feels like a big, giant. It feels like what the city would feel like. And I think the next step isn't an upgrade; it's a side step.
Yeah.
Just increase the amount of RAM, the better graphics cards, and that's it. Because the HD jump was necessary, just like the disc, jump to discs was. But now we're at this all-time high where we have to move sideways. We can't move up too far,
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting. I will be interested to see going into the future how we play our games. And even more so, I will be interested to see if actual physical game stores and physical discs are still going to be a thing, or if we're going to move completely to an all-digital medium cloud sort of deal.
You're new to Steam, and you have Borderlands and Payday, and you got each one of those for $5.
Yeah.
And it's because they throw out this deal. And the thing with the digital market is, there's no middleman. There's no GameStop. Valve selling something like Borderlands for $5 gets the developers more money than when you buy it $60.
Oh yeah.
That's the digital clearly is the future. And up to this stuff, up until now, no one besides Steam gets it. You can kind of get it. Some deals on PlayStation and Xbox, but it's nothing compared to what Valve does.
Steam is pretty crazy. Again, being new to it, being kind of a Steam virgin to just a month ago, and looking at this going, wow, if I want to play the old Knights of the Republic, which I never got to play, because I owned a PlayStation. I can do that now. Oh, and I can get Jade Empire, and I can get Sid Meier's Pirates and the Fable games.
I guarantee you, you wait till Christmas, you will be able to buy every game you just named for less than $2.
Yeah, that's crazy too. The whole money side of it is really doing my head, and I'm like, wait, you mean I don't have to pay $60?
Right. And that's like, people look at my Steam list, they're like, you own almost 400 games. How? I'm like, wait for Steam deals. Like, 2 years ago, I bought the THQ bundle. It included 49 games for $38.
Yeah, the bundles are insane too, and also all like the pre-order and stuff. Like, you know, every time you close down Steam, they're like, "Hey, would you like to pre-order Borderlands 2, whatnot there for a discount or whatever?"
Right. It's like, oh, you get a discount. Oh, and you also get Borderlands 1 to play right now. Oh, you don't have Borderlands 1, or you already have it? Well, gift it to one of your friends and then play it together. It's like, that's so smart, you know?
And even crazier too, there's talk I was hearing the other day about like a resale or gifting system for Steam, where it's like you could actually sell your games back. Now, it's obviously not there yet, and they still need to work out some of the bugs, but if there actually came a time when I could resell my digital content,
right,
that would be crazy.
Let's actually talk. That's a perfect segue into Valve and Steam, because they just announced they're redoing, like, it's been 2.5 years since this current Steam, the way you see it. And I mean, before this, it was kind of hectic. Like, it wasn't as good. But they're going to be redoing everything. They're going to have status updates, like, you know, Facebook now. Community features, like you take a picture, post it to your wall, to your groups. Everybody's going to be able to see it. You're going to be able to nickname all your friends, so, you know, you don't lose track of. Because someone like me who has like 40, 50 friends from all across the world, I lose track of who's who when constantly people are changing their names.
Of course.
They're going to have, like, you know, community features where you post a video automatically to Facebook. The top ones get pushed to the community page.
Jeez.
Like, they are doing so much right now to move PC gaming in the right direction. It's, you know, it's really just being like, you look at it currently, it's like, yeah, I'm going to get the next generation of consoles, but when, if the next generation of consoles doesn't accomplish what Steam does right now, I will go spend $300 extra, upgrade my graphics card, and be ahead of whatever the next-gen console is for a few years, you know?
But it's funny you should mention that. I know we've always had this conversation of PC gaming versus console gaming. Doing the Steam thing, for just this month, I am brand new to PC gaming this month. You know, I got Team Fortress 2, I got Payday, I got Borderlands. They downloaded fine, and I've never had a problem. Meanwhile, I put Sleeping Dogs for the review that we're going to do in my thing. I had to wait for the patch, I had to wait for it to install, and I had to wait for other stuff. And I'm like, why is this taking longer and being more complicated than PC gaming?
And then how about the most important thing I will say about Steam, and this is the godsend to people like me, the mod community. And Steamworks, their shop. Yeah. I boot up my Steam, I go to library, it says, oh, top mods for Skyrim. I click it, the top 15 populate the page, you literally click install. The next time you boot it up, the mod is ready.
Damn.
Like, it's that simple. Like, it's...
I've seen some of those Skyrim mods, and they're pretty insane.
Oh, yeah, it's... They know what they're doing, that's the thing.
Like, the sort of shit where I'm like, wow, you know, I would really like that to be in my game.
Right. Well, speaking of, the stuff we want in our game, and stuff people don't want in their game, how about Electronic Arts? They could be up for sale by the look of it.
For real.
Wow. I mean, at the verge of news that Vivendi, who owns Activision about a month ago, is looking to sell.
Yeah.
And Microsoft potentially wanting to buy them, which means causing a monopoly on Call of Duty and everything being exclusive to Microsoft. Imagine if EA goes up for sale. Jeez. That is crazy.
That really scares me, the idea that all of gaming is owned by one company.
I know, right?
Well, it scares me if anything is all owned by one company, not just games, but I especially don't want to have to deal with Microsoft. Well, any of the big companies anyway, but especially Microsoft.
Microsoft is the evil empire. Like, they are terrible at treating customers.
Like, I'm pretty sure they sit there in their chairs aboard their Death Stars, which they own, looking over on Alderaan.
Alderaan is us gamers?
Alderaan is us gamers, yep.
Oh, God. Well, actually, speaking of Alderaan, let's segue. Wait, man, we're making segues like nothing.
Damn.
It's like butter right here, you know?
Yeah, we're doing good, yeah.
SWTOR, as we have learned, is going free to play, and for those of you that are in the know, what the hell we're talking about. That's Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO that came out last December. Free to play this November or December.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
I'm all for that.
If Star Wars does not dethrone World of Warcraft, nothing will.
Yeah,
I don't
it certainly
care.
feels that way.
I swear, God, Jesus could get resurrected and ask people to stop playing Warcraft, and they're not going to. It doesn't matter. It's done.
Yeah, I mean, for a while there, it looked like, Star Wars is going to do it, man. Star Wars has its own built-in audience. Star Wars is going to take down WoW, or at least be able to stick around longer,
right.
But guess not.
I think, and I play almost every MMO that comes out. I buy them all. I buy the collector's editions. I have so many, like, good God. And I have this collector's edition of Star Wars and everything. I love the game. The problem is, this day and age, with the economy and everything, you cannot release an MMO and not have it be as feature-filled as World of Warcraft is now for $15 a month. In free-to-play, they have shown, like, Lord of the Rings was tanking. It goes free-to-play. They had a 400% increase in revenue. Like, that speaks volumes. Like, if I'm, you release Star Wars, like, let's say to you don't want to buy it right now, Joel, because, it costs money. It's $15 a month, right?
I still got to buy actual games for my console still to justify owning that, yeah.
Let's say Star Wars is going free to play. You're going to have levels, 1 through 50 all for you. You go in there, they say, hey,
hell yeah.
Do you want to be able to do these missions with your friends? Yeah. Pay $10, you unlock it for a lifetime of your account. You go, so if I pay $10, I can unlock, these missions, the flashpoints, which they call them, permanently for all my characters. Yup, here's $10 done.
Yeah,
it's so much smarter to do it that way. Pick and choose your content.
It's funny too, as as I've said before, someone new to PC gaming. I actually picked up the free trial for SWTOR. That's levels 1 to 15. Basically, you get to play the first starting area and get your first ship, essentially. And I was really digging it, but the thing I noticed about it too, probably more than any other MMO, it really does ask you to be more individualistic and be more of a solo player, which I like because I'm really digging the story and I want to go and live the story. Yep. And I figured to myself, I'm like, there's a point where this has got to end. And once this ends, once I've seen the end of my character's story, would I want to keep playing?
I see, and that's the thing, like the Flashpoint missions, which the free accounts will be able to do, those are so cool. Like, it'll be like a 2-hour, 3-hour Flashpoint, which is this mission where you team up with like 4 or 5 other people. You're doing those decisions, rolling the dice, and those are further to, empower your character on certain ways. Which, right. And I understand what you're saying. It's like, once I get to level 50 and my character is done, will I want to continue? And that's what they said they're going to, fix. They're going to be releasing content to continue your story, and doing... So it's like, they're doing this so smart that's like, you guys should have just launched free-to-play.
Yeah, and started it this way.
Right.
Oh, well, I know I'll be interested, come the next gaming drought. I could totally see myself being thrown in completely to Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh, yeah. No, the moment that's free to play, I'm going to play it. So you listeners that are listening to this right now, watching the video on YouTube, if you're going to be playing Star Wars, keep up to date with us because we will be having our own comic book cast guild on there. Mm-hmm. We're going to play with fans. I already know a few of you. You guys are already on the Corellia Run server because I played with you. We'll all get back on there and we'll start doing this shit together.
Yes, you'll need to meet my Sith Lord, Darth Hedonus.
Now, this piece of news you posted, I haven't read upon it, but new Medal of Honor partners with Real Gun Company?
Actually, because the game industry is in such a state of flux at all time, that news has actually changed right now. EA removes partner links blogs from Medal of Honor website. Basically, they had all these partner links to like real, actual gun manufacturers and real gun makers, which, hey, if you're a military game, obviously you want to get all the proper military licenses and whatnot.
Fucking terrible in the term of video games are constantly being bombarded with, that guy shoots up someplace. It's clearly video games.
Clearly he was exactly, and that's why this was ruffling so many people's feathers.
God, that is terrible.
I know, this is terrible. This isn't right.
Well, I want to speak about the worst marketing I've ever seen. Do you remember like 2 years ago Dead Space 2 came out?
Oh, yes, I do. That was
terrible commercial of, this isn't a game you want your mom seeing, and it's like all these moms going, oh my God, what the and you want me to take your video game seriously and pitch it at an adult, but it's a game I don't want my mom to see. My mom is fucking 50 years old, and I'm 26 years old. What the fuck are you doing?
Again, too, I love my mother, too. What, are you saying, EA, that I shouldn't respect my mother? But EA is terrible with this. They have a history of doing shitty things like this. For Dante's Inferno, they actually set up fake protests of people saying this game is an affront to God and other stuff. Again, these weren't real protesters. EA had just paid actors to do this to try and, use the controversy to move more game units. I'm like, that's really underhanded, and that's really shitty. And this is really shitty and really underhanded, too.
Uh-huh. Oh, man.
And people wonder why people don't like EA.
Right. Now, the other piece of news was, you could probably talk more about this because I'm never playing this game again, but Mass Effect 3 Leviathan DLC. What the hell is it?
It's not much. It's basically the first big mission-based, non-ending-based DLC for Mass Effect comes out August 28th. Did they say it will, because I remember reading an article saying it will affect the ending yet again. Will it affect? Okay, see, that I didn't read.
So if you buy this DLC and you do something, then the ending, all 4 choices will apparently have another outcome that's a variable. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Maybe this time we can all have a pool party. I really want to see Tally in her bikini, but that's just me.
I want to see Miranda's ass.
ass.
And speaking of ass and tits, God of War Ascension multiplayer beta announced. Hell yeah, but I still don't understand why God of War needs a... Okay, this is a double-edged negative sword, because this is what reviewers do. And I've seen this, such games as Dead Space, and I will say this to IGN, and Game Trailers, and GameSpot, and all those other fucking reviewer sites. Dead Space 1 came out, they review and they say one of the negatives is, well, this game is a single player, so you could play maybe once, but there's no multiplayer to go to, so they ding it for score. Dead Space 2 comes out, and same thing with BioShock 2.
Yeah.
And it has a multiplayer, and they say, well, the game is great, but the single player feels kind of underhanded because they have a cheap multiplayer. We wish they would have taken it out. So which one do you fucking want?
You can't win. I mean, I know there was a big deal where gamers actually rejoiced because BioShock Infinite had said, yeah, we're not having a multiplayer.
Yes, and the reviewers are going to ding the score, being like, well, you could play it once, then you're out of options.
Ugh.
Oh, my God.
I really... One of the things you can really blame Call of Duty for is now every game, no matter... regardless of genre, regardless of tone, everything needs to have a multiplayer now.
If there is a game that doesn't need multiplayer and co-op, it's Dead Space, and they're adding both of them to it.
Hell, if there's a game that doesn't need it, it's God of War. Now, that being said, the stuff that I've seen actually looks kind of interesting.
It looks interesting. I mean, you have to fight each other and also fight the Titans, which is a pretty cool premise. Now,
and very true to God of War.
Right. Now, the only problem is, like, how repetitive is it going to get? Because once I take down, let's say, one of the Titans, like Gaia or something, whatever the hell I'm fighting, if I do it the next time, she's going to have the same motions and stuff. So it's like, what is the point? The variable in Call of Duty is every time you play, it's different because you have different people and the stage is different, But it's like this, it's 4 people, so I'm still I'm still cautious on it.
Yeah, the thing that interests me about this God of War thing is it's going to be a prequel. Now, I actually just recently played all the PSP prequels for God of War. They were enjoyable, but at the same time, I'm like, is the story of Kratos really so deep that we need to go back to the beginning?
It's like making a prequel to Red Hood to tell us how Red Hood became a Red Hoodier.
Red Hood, I know, it's like, don't get me wrong, love Kratos, love the God of War series. I can just admit that, he's not really that interesting. He has one emotion for everything, pissed off.
Yeah, let me tell you let me give you my whole rundown of every God of War game.
Uh-huh.
Generic God, I will come and get you. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's every single game of God of War. And do not hate on me because I love those games.
Oh, me too.
I have all of them.
God of War 2 is probably one of my favorite games of all time. I think it's one of the finest hack and slashers ever made.
Oh, I completely agree with that.
Like, ever made, ever. And I really wish they would recapture what was so great about God of War 2. And I'm worried now because it's like everything I really want to see, like all the great gods and monsters from mythology, after like 4 or 5 games, I don't think they can show me anything new. I think they've used up practically everybody.
I got the perfect pitch for them right now.
Okay.
Time travel, include Perseus and Sam Worthington voicing him. How about that?
Yeah,
two bland characters in one game.
He already killed Perseus in number 2, so there you go.
Oh God.
Well, that's the funny thing about this game too, is it's supposed to be a prequel, but in the second one they introduced time travel, so really there's nowhere you can't go in a series once you've introduced time travel.
Well, you heard the original ending to God of War 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What it was going to be, and it was going to be much cooler, touch on Christianity and all that, but of course they scrapped that.
Yeah, of course.
But let's talk about this other piece of news. Borderlands 2 girlfriend mod controversy.
Mode controversy, yeah. So, okay. Okay, so the dude was shopping around the game and he was talking about the new DLC class, the Mech Romancer.
Yep, okay.
And to which he said,
F1 for pre-order or
It's the pre-order one, and the guy's basically saying, a lot of what he said was taken out of context and a bunch of people got angry, but he said, that this is one of the cuter modes or one of the cuter characters we've ever had in a Borderlands game before, and we really want to make it accessible to the people who like to watch FPSs but are perhaps not too good at it. We like to think of it as a girlfriend mode or something. To which everybody got all pissed off and be like, what are you insinuating, that girlfriends don't play video games? What are you insinuating, that women can't play video games?
I tried to play Borderlands with my wife. She was running backwards, looking up, doesn't understand the dual stick shoot, and so I can attest. And my wife plays video games hardcore. Yeah. But first-person shooters are not her thing. She cannot grasp how to use all the buttons at once. Mm-hmm. So I understand what they're doing. I can see how it's controversial, but it's also fucking funny.
It is. We live in such a politically correct age on the internet, where it's like any one thing you say could piss off, an entire group that you're not even aware of. The dude, when you read the entire interview, it's perfectly harmless.
Right.
Right. The guy is saying nothing malicious. He is saying nothing mean.
I feel like the industry and websites are doing what the other media did to the
Fox News, yeah.
Like the Mass Effect, and they're like, oh, it's Sex Effect or whatever they were calling Mass Effect. Yeah. You're like, oh, you could just go have a sex with a random blue chick. No, you can't. You have to put 15 hours into getting her to even make out with you.
Yeah, really. You need to actually build a loving, healthy relationship. Right. Yeah.
And they've grasped onto this one piece. They're like, oh, video games, they're so bad and shit. It's like, no, get the hell out of here.
It's like, we know girls play games. We know there's some really awesome girl gamers out there. Yeah. And if you are an awesome girl gamer, I don't see why you would be offended by something. It's a joke. It's Borderlands. It's played for comedy.
Right.
Now, that's not to be saying that, there aren't some really sexist, really awful things happening in the game industry. That new Lara Croft thing, to which, not to beat a dead horse, but that's kind of fucked up.
Wait, which new Lara Croft thing?
The really rapey prequel they're doing.
Oh, yes. Oh, I completely blocked that out.
See, that's wrong. That's sexist. We should all be attacking that, yet for some reason we're not. Notice that's kind of
it's like, it was okay. It was, I guess, okay to have her as a sex symbol where her tits are like triple fucking Z's. But now when she looks normal, they go to one step ahead where she's getting raped and tie up fetish type of stuff. I'm like, what the hell? Come on.
I know. To talk about sidestepping a pothole only to fall off a cliff.
See, that is the one thing. I know you don't like Nathan Drake as a character, but that's the one thing I relate to him. He's not the muscular guy. He's not the guy in a fucking suit of armor. He is Indiana Jones. He's the guy we all want to be,
Yeah, he still looks like a male model, but okay,
right.
I see where you're coming
from.
I
felt like that's what I thought they were doing for Lara Croft. They were going to take the serious approach where, she's not a sex symbol or anything like that. And I was so excited. And then I see the trailers and stuff. I'm like, really, guys? Come on.
Now, that being said, if they wanted to take Nathan Drake in that direction for the next one, if it's like Nathan Drake in a Turkish prison, fending off a bunch of rapists, then I might actually feel for Nathan Drake. Run, Nathan, run. Protect your butthole. They're after you. No, Nathan Drake versus the guys from Deliverance versus Dead Baby. Squeal like a pig for me, Nathan Drake.
Oh, God. So, speaking of squealing like a piggy, I have no idea how that's a segue, but DayZ could be coming to consoles.
Yeah, going to show how popular this mod
idea.
is.
Fuck you, fuck DayZ, fuck everybody that wants this. Okay, let me break this down for you. DayZ is a buggy mod for a buggy game that only 10% of fucking computers can run because it's so goddamn demanding. Yep. And they're going to rush this out into a PC, into a box form because they want money. And now they want to put this on console where this shit is getting patched literally on a bi-daily basis. And, I mean, I have the mod. I have it installed. I patch it. Half the time I have to reinstall the whole game and make sure this file is correctly because this file conflicted with this and I didn't remove this file. It is so annoying. And plus to top that off, we have another game coming out called The War Z.
Yes, I've seen
which is the same thing except it's dedicated, and they've been working on it for about a year already. So I'll just buy that because it's guaranteed to work better than this mod that's built on a broken game.
It does seem kind of crazy. We're kind of at a zombie singularity right now. All zombies all the time. Oh, this is a popular zombie property. Well, we better get it on
Walking Dead, it wouldn't have been that. It was all vampires. But now that Walking Dead took off, everybody's like, all right, back on the zombie bandwagon. I want mummies back. When are mummies back?
Well, hey, Frankenstein is coming out soon. Actually, a bunch of big movie studios have optioned Frankenstein script. So mark my words right here, right now, Frankenstein is going to be the next big thing.
All right. I'm going on the Chupacabra, but I've been wrong the last 15 years. I've been waiting for Chupacabra to get to Main Street. So
Slender Man versus the Jersey Devil.
So now we're going to go into a segment once we're done with the news where we talk about some games we've been playing on. And this week, myself, Joel, Sean, and Matt have been hardcore playing Payday the Heist on Steam.
Yes. There was a sale, so we all picked it up, yeah.
And, wow. That game, this is like what a FPS should be in terms of difficulty. Because it took us like 7 or 8 times to be on normal every level, and we really had to start. We haven't even beat every level.
We haven't.
We beat like a quarter of them.
I would say it's definitely something a co-op shooter should be. I know for me, I've been so coddled on all my console FPSs. It blew my mind that I couldn't reload and run at the same time.
That's the one thing, like when a game is made more for PC, you will see these things that a lot of people get confused at. Like, there's still PC games where you don't regenerate health.
Yeah,
and
like this one, you don't regenerate health.
My friends play them. They're like, whoa, I'm hiding behind this rock. When do I start regenerating health? I'm like, bitch, you get a health kit.
Go find the health kit.
So, like, Payday, I mean, in case you guys don't know, the best way I could pitch it is imagine that level from Grand Theft Auto 4 where you're doing the bank heist.
Yeah.
Imagine that in a first-person shooter.
Yeah, imagine a whole game like that. Imagine Heat, the video game, essentially.
Yes, exactly. And you can
the bank robbery from Dark Knight, if you prefer.
You can take hostages, trade them out. You upgrade your weapons as you use them. They get better, less recoil, things like that.
More accuracy, more body armor.
This game, surprisingly, I didn't play it up until we all decided to start playing it, and I was so blown away with how good it is.
I played a little of the demo on consoles before I moved to the PC, and I really gotta say, playing with friends is much better. Is definitely the way this game was meant to be played.
I tried it twice so far just to play it by myself, and it doesn't have the same feel because you want to feel like you guys are committing a heist. And when you have
like you're all working friends, together.
Like you guys can go watch our Let's Plays. Actually, there's gonna be a link right now. Click to see one of them. Yeah. Just check out how fun that is.
Mm-hmm. For better or ill, even when we are fucking up and even when we are dying, which happens a lot, but that just adds to the fun and makes you want to play again.
Yeah, exactly. It's so awesome to play it. And I mean, if anybody here is a PC player, add us on Steam if you have it. We'll totally play it with you.
Yeah, really.
Like we always need more what we call dummy bags to throw out there.
Yeah, really. I thought you were going to say alternates, but that works too.
Yeah.
But definitely a very fun game. Not a perfect game. I feel the aiming can be a little jinky at times, but then again, that's me being new to PC. The upgrade system is also kind of weird. You've got 3 classes, but It's kind of weird about how you can pick those 3 classes, and even then leveling up is kind of odd because you don't level up with experience, you level up with money. Money is your experience.
So how much money you steal, you level up, and you don't pick your level up. It's like there's a predetermined. So it's like, oh, I hit level 32, I unlock this for this class and things like that. Yeah, it's cool. It's different.
It's interesting. It's different. God willing, if they ever make a sequel, the level up system is something that they'll work with.
I hope they do that, and I hope they, as much as I don't like Call of Duty, I hope they add perks, because this is a game fit for perks.
Well, you kind of have perks, but you got to level up really
like, how cool high. You're like, you walk into the bank, you're level 35, well, now you can have the disruptor. The moment the heist starts, one of you hits the thing, and you disrupt all cameras for like 2 minutes or something. That would be nice. So cool, you know?
That would be very nice, yeah.
Or like you could steal a shield perk, from the shield guy, so you can run the riot and things like that. That would be totally awesome.
And it's funny you should mention perks there and borrowing from Call of Duty. That'll lead perfectly into the other 2 games we're going to talk about today.
So, I will start this with Darksiders.
Yes,
I want to hear your stories, because yours is a more, I think, highlighted game of the 2. Yeah. And I'm going to now talk about Darksiders 2.
Go for it.
I want to say I like Darksiders 1. I gave it a solid 7 out of 10. I thought it was fun. I played it on PlayStation through GameFly. I liked it, and I ended up buying it on Steam. It's a great game. It perfectly meshed that action feel of God of War hack and slashes.
Yeah.
With the RPG-ness and dungeon crawling of Zelda that I like.
Yeah, I heard that it's like a more bloody, grittier version of Zelda.
Oh, right, yeah. I would completely give it that. And so the first game ends, spoiler alert, with death descending down upon Earth. And this game picks up right then and there. I mean, you are death, and they pick up, they're like, all of humanity is now extinct, and you're trying to fight back for kind of I don't want to give away too much, but it's the story is not the deepest, but it's good.
Essentially, what it is you play one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. Right. You play death.
Right, and you're off. The game starts off, you're automatically put into an open world.
Oh, wow.
They start you on a horse, and they're like, okay, start traveling. And, the combat, like I said, is hack and slash. The graphics, I'm playing on PC, so it's maxed out, because that's the only option they give you is maxed out quality. You can tell some of the bad textures, and things like that, but the art design is what really steals the show.
Yeah, it looked nice from what I've seen.
Yeah, exactly.
And better yet, Death himself as a character model, War from the first game, who you played Darksiders 1, he really did look like a cliche action game hero where it's we need spikes and chains and hoods and spikes. Death, they've calmed down quite a bit. He's still a much bulkier version of Death than I think we're used to, but he's not as loud.
Yeah, I really like the character. What I like about the gameplay, actually, is they meshed the God of War combat, right?
Yeah.
They added the Prince of Persia wall run in traversal.
Yeah, I've seen
that.
Which is
really cool. It fits so well into it. And the story, once it starts off, you'll get some epic combat. And there's a nice level up system too. You level up and you have the skill trees that you can go down, and you can dramatically alter how the outcome of your character and the powers you're going to use, and which way you want to go towards the combat. You want to be more bloody and just get in there and rip them, or you want to use a more magical element, which is actually really cool.
It looked like there was quite the equipment system there from what I saw.
Oh my god, and yes, I want to talk about that, because this is, imagine World of Warcraft as a single player game.
Oh wow.
It is so constantly everything is dropping loot, there's chests, you're running around the world, things are popping up to do, monsters to kill, things that are signaling everywhere. It's a huge map, and you pick up a thing, it's you go over a chest, right, and you open it, or you kill a monster, and a couple things fall out, and you can go over, and it's if you want to equip it, hold the select button, or if you want to just pick it up, press B, and it's all these stats to adjust, and your guy can look so awesome. I think they did a really good job at they pretty much fixed every problem that everybody had with the first one.
Right.
Which, a testament to them for listening. And sadly, this is THQ, and anybody's fault. THQ's almost about to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. I would say I'm about
That's good.
5-6 hours in, because that's all I've been able to play, and I've watched a few more. I watched about an hour's worth of gameplay just to get see how it. And there's a good amount of stuff in there. I mean, it's definitely. It feels like it's going to be definitely like a 20-hour game plus.
Which I was definitely interested in. Had I not knew I was going to pick up Sleeping Dogs, I actually probably would have gotten that. Matter of fact, the person at the counter even said, "Hey, you want to get this too?" To which I'm like, "Hey, I'm not made of money. If I was, I would."
Right. So, I definitely want to say, if you're listening to this and you've been on the edge, I would recommend this to you. Maybe I would say if you're on the edge and you're like, I would say wait for $30-$40, because at that price, it's going to be totally worth it. It's a great experience, cool story. There's, like I said, the combat is awesome. The story gets going, into it, and you actually go deeper into the myths. There's some cool twists in there. I really enjoy it.
Now, here's my question there. The big complaint that I kept hearing from everybody is, Darksiders doesn't do anything original. You get the combat from God of War, the wall running from Prince of Persia, and like all the other stuff from Zelda. Does it do anything original? Does it do anything you've never seen before?
No, it doesn't. But honestly, it's like, in this day and age, I would rather have a game that copies everybody and does it decently than tries to add in a new feature and fails on it because of it.
If you're going to steal from the best. And actually, that will dovetail perfectly with Sleeping Dogs, because it actually borrows quite a bit from other stuff.
I'm just going to say, I give Darksiders 2 a very solid recommendation with an 8 out of 10.
Right on. I'll have to pick it up. Yeah.
So take it away with Sleeping Dogs, Joel.
Okay, so Sleeping Dogs has actually had a really, really interesting life cycle. If you've been keeping up with the game, it was actually supposed to be True Crime Streets of Hong Kong. Yes, it was supposed to be a sequel. But the company making it went belly up, and it was...
From what I understand, Activision didn't want it, and they shut down the company, and then it was in limbo for like 6 months.
Oh, it got kicked around for a long time with nobody really wanting it. Eventually, it got saved by Square Enix, of all people.
Jesus Christ.
Matter of fact, it freaked the shit out of me to put on this gritty crime game and see the Square Enix logo come
I know,
up,
right?
Where I'm like, whoa. And it's going to be even freakier because the new Hitman game, Absolution, that's going to be Square Enix too.
Uh-huh.
But, so yeah, the game, it has quite a lot in common with the true crime games, even still matter.
I've seen a lot of people talk about it, and they try to sway away from comparing it to Grand Theft Auto. Just say it right now. It's a Grand Theft Auto clone.
It is, because True Crime was a Grand Theft Auto clone. The only conceit is, much like the True Crime games, you play a cop. You play an undercover cop, Wei Shen, who is infiltrating one of Hong Kong's big triad groups. And you have to, balance your loyalty, although you really don't. Matter of fact, I would say you probably had to balance your loyalties more than the other ones. Basically, you do your standard assortment of Grand Theft Auto-style missions where it's like, oh, hey, go here, collect protection money. Go here, mess up this guy's car for the criminals. But they offset that in a weird and kind of interesting way. I don't think I'm far enough in the game to really decide where then you got to turn around and you got to go do missions for the cops. And the cop missions are actually quite interesting because you do a lot of really undercover police stuff. You got to plant bugs. You got to spy on people. I thought that was a really interesting place to take it, that a few games where you do play as a cop actually let you feel like a cop.
Mm-hmm. That's actually good.
That is. It's again, I hate to keep comparing it to True Crime, but it was supposed to be a True Crime game. And so there's a bunch of pillars that the game is made up of, driving, shooting, and fighting. And the fighting is really good. The fighting is clearly borrowed more than a liberal amount from Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. You fight groups of enemies, and you can counter them at certain points, just like in just like in Arkham Asylum.
Right.
And some of the moves are pretty brutal. I know I unlocked a move just recently, the leg breaker, where you grab a dude, you bring your elbow down on his leg and he lets out this horrible scream of pain. It actually freaks out all the guys around you, giving you a chance to punch the crap out of them. Again, graphically, looks really good. The driving is a little odd. Like a lot of these other games, you don't accelerate with the X button.
Do you do the triggers?
You do the trigger thing.
Okay, because I'm used to triggers because I'm hardcore into Gran Turismo and things.
Right. You do the trigger thing, but again, like a lot of some of these other crime games like Saints Row and whatnot you go really freaking fast. And if I had one complaint about the driving, that would be it, that you go way too freaking fast. Huh. Way too quickly. There's this great moment where, because you can buy cars and you can actually keep a garage going, which is a really nice feature. And I bought this really shitty hybrid-looking car, like this two-door Hong Kong city car. And I'm like, okay, well, this will be slow, but this will get me from point A to point B. It freaking flies.
So it's like the Just Cause 2 syndrome. You get the shittiest car, and it's beyond fast. You're like, what the hell happened?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned Just Cause, because this game actually has quite a lot in common with Just Cause. Matter of fact, the first DLC pack, you could get Just Cause outfits for your character.
Excuse me, Joel. Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, well, the best thing about the game, and this is the thing that probably sets it apart from the Grand Theft Autos and Saints Row, is actually the way your character Wei Shen moves in the world. Clearly, he's been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed, because parkour is actually implemented in the game. Not over the top, it's realistic, but your dude can jump over, jump under, jump around, can jump on cars in traffic like a superhero. I actually really liked that, and that plays into the game quite a bit.
Like you're also talking about the same thing we did to Darksiders, where they're using parts from other games, but once again, is there anything original?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. One thing they do that is original, and I'm like, how come no one else has done this? Chasing plays a big part in the game. You got to chase down a car, you got to chase down dudes on foot. But when you're in a car and chase down a dude, if you press a triangle at the proper time, you can activate this like car foo fighting thing where your car will...
That was very interesting looking.
That's very interesting, and that actually, made me really invested in the chases and whatnot, to where I'm like, oh cool, I get to do this thing. And your dude becomes a freaking John Woo action hero at points. That you gotta actually hang out of your car and jump onto the other thing like you were freaking Spider-Man and get into the enemy car. I'm like, okay, so nice to see you've kissed reality goodbye. But yeah, that's really interesting. The story itself is probably the weakest part. The gameplay is good. The fight mechanics are good. The story is probably the weakest part. You can tell they've seen all the right Triad movies. They've seen all their all the proper Chow Yun-Fat movies, all the Bruce Lee movies. But they're really not adding anything. All the characters are very cardboard, all very paint by numbers. We really are spoiled in Grand Theft Auto, where the characterization is so good and the writing is so clever and funny.
Honestly, after Red Dead Redemption, man, I mean, good lord.
I get the feeling the makers of Sleeping Dogs didn't know how serious they wanted the game to be. Because, you'll have characters trying to make jokes, but you're like, was that a joke? I don't really know. And it gets really confusing, too, all the characters' names. Again, you're in Hong Kong, and characters will just go from speaking English to speaking Chinese, all the more reason to have subtitles on, but I have subtitles on all the time.
Yep, same. I have subtitles on for every game.
And the weirdest thing, so your character's name is Wei Shen, and you're working for the Triad, and all the people you'll meet, even though they're super Asian, matter of fact, the game has probably one of the greatest lineups of Asian voice actors ever in the history of games. Yet all the characters you run into have these white Anglo-Saxon names. One of the first guys you work for is a Triad boss named Winston. Winston, nice. And his girlfriend, who was also Asian, Peggy. Everybody has an English name. I'm like, what the fuck? Is this a thing in China? Does everyone just happen to have an English name too?
I told you about the one video I saw. It was like a comic convention, right? And they, the Japanese love their American shirts that just have American writing. It was a bunch of little girls wearing shirts that say "Come in me," and all like running around happy, and their parents are happy. I'm like, boy, they don't understand what that says.
Well, again, this is China, but again, I get the funny feeling that the people who made this game, because Square Enix is a Japanese company, publishing a game set in China, that there's this weird case of cultural like misunderstanding. Like, the mission structure is weird. One of the first big missions, like at the end of the first chapter, is, oh, go here and beat up this club owner. So I go there and I end up having to sing karaoke to get into the VIP room to do this. And again, this guy is singing "I Fought the Law and the Law Won" by The Clash. And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? If this was like Yakuza, I might understand it, but this is Sleeping Dogs.
Right.
It gets better yet. There's another mission later on that made me go, what the fuck kind of game am I playing? You have to drive around Peggy, because it's her wedding. You got to drive her to the flower shop, then you got to drive her to the cake place to get a cake for the wedding. But some gangsters steal the cake, so you got to chase them down.
What the fuck?
I know. I'm like, what the fuck kind of game am I playing now? Another interesting thing, when the guns do come out, and the guns don't come out to a later point in the game because this is Asia, guns are harder to come by, it turns into a cover-based shooter, but a cover-based shooter with a twist that at any point you can vault over cover, and it goes all slow-mo, John Woo, Max Payne, and gives you a chance to line up shots, which is interesting. But,
good.
So yeah, again, much like Darksiders 2, it is a game that borrows from lots of different sources. But I think if you're going to borrow from anywhere, borrow from the best, and I think they do.
Right.
Another interesting thing is clothes actually play a big part in the game. Much like Darksiders 2, what you wear is very important. If you wear the right clothes and wear enough of them, you get bonuses, be it to fights or money or anything like that. And I really like that. I'm really obsessive-compulsive when it comes to that. So I'll spend like 20 minutes just dressing my dude and driving around to clothes shops.
Yeah, I do
like,
that.
Wow, I am the most effeminate gangster ever. No, must buy new shoes.
I told, man, I don't say, okay, I'm going to admit my manhood straight down to nothing. You remember those games, the beach volleyball ones, Dead or Alive?
Oh, God, yes.
I used to play those hardcore, and people would be like, dude, why are you that turned on by characters? I'm like, no, I'm not turned on by them at all. I mean, I was with my girlfriend at the time, you know? Like, this is when we just met. We used to play those because I was like, oh, man, I love matching up, like, their skirts to their nails and their hair and getting it all up. People were like, dude, you're seriously gay. I was like, listen, I'm compulsive. I wanted all of it.
I know, there really is. I do the same thing in Skyrim and Saints Row. I'm like, no, must dress my character.
Yeah.
You must be the best dressed gangster in all the land.
Yep.
So yeah, a good game, not a very good game. It delivers on everything it said it would deliver on. It's a nice diversion. It's certainly not Grand Theft Auto. It's not even Saints Row in terms of comedy. But it's very functional. It's definitely something I want to see through to the end. If you're interested in it, I would say pick it up. It'll definitely tide you over. And apparently, there's going to be a steady stream of DLC coming for it, so all the more reason to get it, I guess.
Cool. All right, so what's your overall score on that?
Recommended an 8, I guess.
All right, so 8 out of 10. Perfect. Anything else we want to do to end this episode?
No, it's been a pretty jam-packed show. We talked about a lot of stuff.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining us. Let us know if you liked the episode, if there's certain games you want us to talk about, or mention, or, you know, anything like that.
Slender. Play Slender.
Probably.
That seems to be the popular thing.
Yeah. Maybe one of these days. If there's enough requests, I might play Slender, and you guys can see me scream like a woman. Thank you for joining us, and have a good one.
Game on, everybody.